guys, so I'm gonna read you more Lord, alright? Oh, excuse me, sorry. Alright, this is Astarte. She's the shadow of the Lover's Arcana. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll get right onto it. Oh fuck, I need to reset, Siri bot. I'll do that later. Alright, Astarte's form resembles that of a seemingly beautiful, flawless goddess washed by the sea, clad in a gold armor bikini, bejeweled with various jewels. However, she has scales that she's hiding under makeup, and a tail that lashes out like a venomous snake, and hands stained black and ugly as if burnt, and horns like a demon poking out from her crown and veil, and wings bright and colorful, infused with the whispers of illicit temptations. And around her swirls the pink, intoxicating, charm-inducing mist meant to intoxicate and control, according to her own design. In ancient times, during the Age of the Gods, she set herself up as a goddess of love shortly after her exile from the celestial realm, and wanted all love, all praise, all attention to be hers, and to be hers to control while destroying any real love or anything more beautiful than her that opposed her, while treating many lives as her playthings for the amusements of her and her servants. In fact, she wished alright, hey there, past. Alright now, Shelley, alright, thank you for being here, past. I highly appreciate it, yeah, very much. In fact, Astarte wishes for, alright. In fact, Astarte wishes for all life to love her and only her, which is why she and her allies, especially her, want to absence of free will. Oh, now we're getting to Shimi's territory, have you guys ever played that one Final Fantasy game that's like the online one, Shimi? Yeah, it's sort of like that, yeah. Only mixed with Astarte from Castlevania, obviously. That's pretty much how I came up with this one. And she tries to get it peacefully, sweetly, seductively in her power, only to leave her victims, dolls and shells, to the devices of protagonism and to her allies' orders to carry out without question and without question, and to the whims to obey even when they are meant to be, and yet without questioning to her whims to obey, even if they are meant to be slaves or marching. Which means they're pretty much meant to be slaves, or, marching to one's death, or seemingly no reason at all. Basically, the whims of, a corrupt goddess. A corrupt love goddess at that. Yeah. And love goddess is kind of creepy, yeah. If the ascended, the ones that, betrayed the consecration, so choose. Even Astarte's own son defected once he realized that what he'd become under his mom, due to, her ordering him to make a woman he fell in love with a beast, as she put it. This is alright now. This next part is kind of a little bit based on Psyche and Eros. Yeah, you guys ever read that? Well, if you haven't, basically in that, Aphrodite was a huge massive bitch to, this one girl named Psyche, Cupid, the god of love, Cupid, her son, kind of fell in love with, and he was kind of protecting her, and, cherishing her, and, really loved her and all that. Yeah, and then, that kind of fell through because of curiosity, and then, and then Psyche had to do a whole bunch of tasks, which, kind of mercifully worked out for her in the end, despite her disobeying one of them. because of mercy, actually. That's a pretty good story, yeah. Yeah, basically, Astarte's own son in this, defected once he realized what he became under his mom, after she was basically ordering him to make a woman that he fell in love with, fell in love with a beast, as she put it. Which basically is code for human trafficking, but, I can't say that directly. She was going to be forced to, write love letters and, hold hands with, a totally noble and, legitimate businessman. Sort of like Andrew Tate. Which is why even her son would later go on to to be one who didn't control her and who which is why your son would come on to become the ruler of the St. Valentine's Day land and holiday lands. Then would basically do the opposite of what his mother did, which he didn't want to be like controlling or enforce what she did, and want to and decide to help people's relationships and foster love and all that. Unlike his mom, which was very selfish. Starting in this story, basically wanted to control, basically wanted all love to basically be hers. Yeah, I believe I did mention that. Also, she kind of had, herself as well as her assassins, and as well as her assassins basically destroy any wise man or anybody more beautiful than her, or really anybody with true arts that basically were a threat to the ascended, basically. Yeah, and in the Holiday Lands arc, where Astarte would eventually come back in that, she herself came back to cause trouble and trouble for her own son, and claimed that he was no son of hers, while trying to take control of the universe's love her son's own daughter, however, drove her out. And later Astarte would join under Illumina Night and under Red Mint and also, oh wait, I'm sorry, I have to restart that. And then later, after Illuminate and Red Moon caused all sorts of damage to the Celestial Realm and stole the world canvases, she, Astarte kind of took over the Isekai world system, which was meant to help people out with their dreams after their death and reincarnate them accordingly. But Astarte kind of took it over and took control of it for herself. To help her with the help of her servant Callista, who's Callista, she's like a former Apsara, and she became a succubus because she was like super fanatically loyal to Astarte and all that. So Callista, does have dream manipulation powers. She is a succubus after all. That's part of what they do, or what they're supposed to be doing. Aside from what the typical stuff that we all know them for. Yeah, but all right now. Yeah, basically in this, succubi are basically corrupted celestial entities. Usually ones that cover in love. Yeah, they're kind of heavily, most of them are former fragments of the lovers, arcana. Yeah. Also, yeah. Technically speaking, they're kind of the same entity, but not really. I guess it's more like a council if you want to think about it, but they're kind of like the same being. Except some of them kind of broke away, from the others and, became like Astarte and all that. Due to basically betraying the other ones. Yeah, if that makes any sense. Alright now. And basically what Astarte and, Callista did with, with the Isekai world system was they decided to try and use it as a tool to brainwash heroes each into soldiers, to basically wage war against the goddess of creation and also against anybody that they deemed their enemy. Yeah. However, Astarte couldn't let go of her petty jealousy towards others, and had out of pride, created a slave overlord. That's another character's lore, which basically, Astarte, reincarnated him as a little slime and, promised he would, live out in the Isekai dream world, as something great, and, basically set him up to basically be, easy XP fodder as, the first entry-level enemy that her chosen champion at the time, fought. He kind of escaped and, decided he'd become a demon lord, and he decided he'd become, a great demon lord, to get revenge. He also, got the curse of, Arachne inside of him. Yeah. And also, oh yeah, thinking it'd be easy, weak and easy to crush while making the slime overlord's girlfriend, who had opposed, Astarte's beauty. Here we go. And Astarte's own, envious eyes into a plaything of one of her puppets she made. Yeah, basically this is about Succubus Queen, who's like, the wife of, Slime Overlord. Yeah, basically what happened with her, she, lived as a hero for quite a while inside the Dream Isekai world, after death, and had become like a super strong hero and all that. And then, she, got her levels drained and, got brainwashed and captured and was basically and was basically forced to basically write love letters and hold hands with, their one of Astarte's, puppets, yeah. That she had made, using the Isekai world system. Yeah, he was a real Minecraft creeper, yeah, in Minecraft, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this without, actually saying it because, I don't want to say it because the censors will kill me. Alright now. Now, so basically, Astarte couldn't let go for, petty jealousy towards mere mortals, apparently. And the reason she tried to slime Overlord into this, by the way, is because, he kind of protected his girlfriend from various incidents where she was basically trying to kill his girlfriend. I mean, his wife, yeah. Sorry, I keep confusing it. However, this would, ultimately lead to Astarte's downfall, and the awakening of the Slime Overlord with the Curse of the Spider, which, is related to Arachne's curse, which we are going to get into, especially, we already got into that with Athena, when we went over her. Basically, it's like basically Arachne and, Curse of the Dark Lord became a huge legacy, and, the Slime Overlord was one of the successors, and because of that, he was able to destroy Astarte for good. So, no more Astarte, she's dead. Good riddance, honestly. Good riddance. Good riddance to that, good riddance to that, good riddance to that, wicked, corrupt goddess who, force people to, write love letters and hold hands, against their will. Ugh. Nobody likes any of that when it's not consensual. Alright now. What, you want? Oh, hey, Red Heavy, hey, I'm not a Dorito. I did have a good Christmas. Also, thank you, Vexus, for the bits. Yeah, I just finished up Astarte, though, so... Alright, now, I just finished up Astarte, so, I guess I will go raid. Alright, I apologize. Alright, I did base her in, like, Shimi and, Astarte. Also, a little bit of Cupid and Psyche. Alright, now let's raid Enabin underscore VT. Yeah, the Enabin's still going in by that, right? Right, yeah. Let's go raid him. He's playing a Chrono Trigger randomizer. I was over there earlier. Yeah, and also you put She-Devil, and also put that She-Devil on ice. That's right. That's right, Astarte got put on ice by Slime Overlord. Because of what she did to him and, his wife. Alright now. Moonbat swooping and giving rabies to a cute bunny. Mwah. Mwah, Alright, 'Lion face. There we go. Goodbye. Alright, now, I just finished up Astarte, so, I guess I will go raid Enabin underscore VT. Yeah, the Enabin's still going in by that, right? There we go. Goodbye.